Hey everybody, if you have not seen Song Sung Blue, you better run to the theater and see it while it's still there. It is amazing. I cried, I laughed. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. And I'm not gonna like present any spoilers because I don't know who's all seen it and if you know the history or not. But there comes a point in time in the movie when Thunder, played by Kate Hudson, oh my gosh, amazing. She faces a loss. I'm not going to tell you what the loss is, but let's just say that loss, it brings her low to a point where her family actually had to intervene and um, basically get her help because they knew that they could only do so much for her, and her depression and loss was beyond anything that they could be of assistance with. So she goes into, we'll say, a funk, which is normally what happens when you're dealing with parental estrangement. I'll tell you, it's when my daughters walked out of my life, and this is 15 years ago. When you have a loss, you never forget. You never forget the exact moment. It becomes a distant memory, but it's still there. It's almost as if it's on a VHS tape. Yours happened like mine happened on a VHS tape, and once in a while you go through your tapes and you pop one and you're like, oh, I remember that. So it's like that. It comes back up, and so I remember, although I had to go to work and I couldn't just lay around on the couch. Oh, there came a point in time when I was low, and I struggled, and I wasn't the type to drink or do drugs or anything like that. Um, and to be honest with you, because it was a while ago, my normal reaction to anything, any loss or any trauma, is I always say I'll deal with it later. And dealing with it later, it allows that trauma to manifest itself in ways that affect you from the inside out. So I remember when I walked in my daughter's room and it was basically empty except for the bed and a couple of hangers, and I thought, holy cow, and I walked out and shut the door, and then I walked in and I crumbled on the floor and I cried and I brushed myself off and I got back up and I shut that door. And I always said I'd deal with it later, and that I had to, because there came a point in time years after that. I was at the end of my rope. I was waking up every day with panic and headaches. And I walked into the VA and I said, I don't want to live like this anymore. And they said, are you suicidal? And I said, no, I just don't want to live like this anymore. And I was able to stay inpatient at the VA for 3 months. And I felt for the first time in my life, I was finally able to focus on the help that I needed to get through not just the loss of my children, but through various traumas as well. I understand not everybody's going to have the opportunity to stay inpatient. I was a veteran. They have that at the VA. I was very fortunate. But there comes a point in time when, just like Claire, Thunder, she got back up and she started to live again. And that's what I had to do too. I had to say, even if my children walked away, I still have a life worth living, and I got to get back out there. And so if you haven't sought out to talk with someone, I think it's a really good idea. A grief support group. But most important, you can stay down and you can remain there, or you have to say, you know what, screw you, I got to do this and I got to get back up. So don't allow situations, traumas, losses, etc., to keep a sister down. Your life is meant to be lived, and I suggest you start living it. No more excuses. No more, I did this and that, and this is what so and so did to me. We've each had a so and so that's done something to us. But all I know is that I didn't stay down, and now I'm thriving, and I have love, and I have a life, and people value me, and that's all there is to it. So, anyways, that's all I've got, and I'll be back.